All right.
Today's date is July 7th, 2022. Today's guest is Sensei Michel Gosselin from Hearst, Ontario. Please, Sensei, please state your name and your rank.
My name is Michel Gosselin, and I'm a Rokudan, 6th Dan.
And how many years have you been involved with martial arts?
As of this coming September, it will be 50 years, actually. I started in 1972, September 72.
Wow. And what is your martial arts background?
Taekwondo, karate, I coached wrestling. I did wrestling in high school, Shindo. Like, that's pretty much sums it up there. Yeah.
Okay. You've already covered the next question, which is what styles have you studied? How did you get started in the martial arts?
Actually, just upon entering high school, I had a English teacher who came up to Geraldton from Toronto, and he was a green belt at the time, and he wanted to continue his training, so he started a club after school. So that's how I joined. I think it's a very similar story to what we have in other northern communities. Like, the instructors were not black belts back then; they were just people still interested in karate and teaching. So that's how we got started. I think there was about 40 of us who joined that year. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What are your personal accomplishments related to the martial arts?
That's like, it started fairly early. And it's like, there's always accomplishments as you go in martial arts, either learning a kata or different things like that. But the things that stand out to me in my career in the martial arts, I guess, is the first time we went to Toronto. It was like a grading. I think that I was grading for my yellow belt at the time. And they gave me a trophy for the best form for they call it a promotion contest. But there was maybe 3 trophies on the table, and everybody they did their thing. And then that was my very, very first award I ever got in my life. So it was kind of neat. In Taekwondo, I represented Canada at the 4th ITF World Championships. I was a member of the Shintani team, which is a great accomplishment. It gave me much more than just being on a team. I'm now coaching the team, which is a huge honor for me too. Representing our organization at international tournaments and being successful at international tournaments is something that was very important to me. Doing karate in Japan, like, everybody who does karate dreams of going to Japan and doing karate. And we were at the hotel, and they had this huge deck outside, and we did a little training session in the morning. No gis or anything, just running around doing a few kumite techniques. And then I look around, and then I stop everybody. I said, "Guys, do you realize we're in Japan and we're doing karate?" That was cool. Yeah. And of course, being on the Senate and it is like, I never would have thought I would have been called up to play a role on the Senate, but generally all the friendships that I made, I consider big accomplishments. And now I get my accomplishments through my students or my team members. When they do well, I do well. Like, so that's how. So it's been a journey of little accomplishments, some bigger than others, but it's that's what keeps us going in karate, I guess.
It all makes you feel good at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
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 Sensei Michel, what was your first encounter with Hanshi Shintani?
Yeah, for that question, I had written one answer, and then just yesterday, I think I realized that it wasn't. I thought it was the first well, in '97 in Fort Erie. I thought that was the first time when Sensei Peter had his black belt tournaments and team trials of first. I thought that was the first time, but actually it was Bob Trahan who introduced me to Sensei Shintani at the arena here in Hearst. They had a tournament, and at that time I ran a little taekwondo club at the high school, and I was the teacher to some of Sensei Trahan's kids, so he knew me. And then I went to watch. And then when he saw me, he introduced me to Sensei Shintani. He said, so it was nice of him to take the time to introduce him to me like that. So.
And what was your impression of Hanshi Shintani?
It was like he was grandmaster. He's the head of the organization. I like he was a calm guy. I'm going back now to the Fort Erie. He just had a sense of calmness around him. I guess he didn't raise his voice. He sat there, watched everything going on, and yeah, and the way people acted around him, very respectful and stuff. So yeah, I knew he was a very special man.
Right, absolutely. What's your favorite memory of Hanshi Shintani?
I guess him giving me advice, and the little connections that he made with me. Like it seems almost whenever he'd see me, he'd take the time to connect. One time after a tournament in Geraldton, he as we were walking out of the school, he said, "Yeah, you did a great job in there." He says, "If you work your gyakutsuki," and I had a kind of a confused look because I wasn't too familiar with the terminology yet because it was pretty early when I first joined the organization. But you say a reverse punch. So I said, okay. He says, "Yeah, you do that." He says, "Nobody's going to touch you after that." So it was kind of cool that he, took the time like that to, but of course I was there. At that time, I guess I was part of the team already. And I was representing him too. And he was not judging. He was just sitting there on the side of the ring and he was watching. So it was nice. Yeah.
How did Hanshi Shintani make you feel?
Always very welcome. Like I said, he always had a nice thing to say. One of the first gradings that I attended, he knew I was like from another style, I guess, I assume. But I come in, I had a black belt already, I'm grading. And I remember he was walking along the wall and he said, "You're doing a good job." I think that was one of your gradings too, Sensei Neil. That time you were grading for fourth dan or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I was on that far wall too, and he said, "Yeah, you're looking good."
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
What struck you most about Hanshi Shintani?
I think his personal connection with people. Like he like, I don't know if it's just me, he took the time to approach people and talk to them. Because I'm not a very like outgoing kind of person. I'm more reserved. So for him to take the time to come and talk to me was special for me. Because I don't think I would have had I would have been too shy to go up and talk to him otherwise.
What inspired you most about Hanshi Shintani's character?
I think like the way he cared for his students. Like the way his students acted around him, and I think he was always there to help people. And I heard stories about him. If somebody was in need, he'd take some money, he says, or tell Sensei to send them some money or something like that. So I heard stories like that. So he was always very willing to help people and his students. I think he was like 100% dedicated to all his students and trying to make them the best that they can be.
Was there a moment that made you say wow or aha, sort of, maybe when he was teaching, something that came around and really stuck out?
Well, before the videos, recently we came out with some videos that are being shared of him teaching. Like prior to that, I didn't really have much to go on for that. But the one wow thing that I remembered was at one of those black belt tournaments, and he was sitting at the table, the head table kind of, and the ring right in front of him, there was a kumite match going on. And like, it was, one guy was getting beat up. Like, the one person was really rough, and he just got up, walked around the table, went in the ring. Okay, that's finished. This is finished. He just ended the match right there. He said, this is too hard, too rough. So he just stopped the match right there. So his concern for that's why I say his concern for his people, it was very important, and to the point where he took the initiative to come and go, and that's it. No, we're not continuing with this. So that's what that impressed me, that he was that he would do that and not just watch somebody could have potentially gotten hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite technique Hanshi Shintani showed you, something that you still teach today?
Yeah, well, he told me to work on my reverse punch. So that's basically the technique that he recommended for me, and it did well for me. I mean, I used to challenge myself to try different things during kumite matches, and after he asked me to work on a reverse punch, I would make it a point to use the reverse punch as much as I could, and because I used to like to kick back then. So I remember doing this one match, and it was reverse punch. I didn't throw a single kick. Then I was kind of okay. Yes.
That would be
and Sensei Shintani was watching. He might have even been judging, because he used to judge when we compete. Yeah.
That's good. What is the one thing about Hanshi Shintani that you think he should be remembered for?
I think Sensei Shintani created a very strong and large organization because of who he was and how he treated people. I mean, if he didn't have that calmness and that kindness, I don't think many people would have stuck around. But he was just so nice and so dedicated that people wanted to like make him proud.
Mhm.
What would you like to say to the students that never had the opportunity to meet Hachi Shintani?
Oh boy. Well, you know, Sensei Shintani is still present in the teachings of his students, his direct students, particularly. I think we start appreciating. Well, that's I'm jumping into different sections here, but I think I lost my train of thought here. So those students are important right now. Well, they'll always be, and for the legacy to move on, people have to expose themselves to those people. They all have their own perspective, their own way of moving, big, small, you know. But Sensei taught them all, and they all specialize in one little area, maybe more than other areas and stuff. So if you want the complete package, you need to visit different senseis and attend clinics that are offered by those different senseis, and then you'll get a good sense of what Sensei Shintani created.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there's no one person who's going to be identical to the other person, regardless of how much time they spend with them. So
No.
yeah. Can you describe Hanshi Shintani in one sentence? Is that possible?
I think he was a great, humble, kind person who dedicated his life to helping others.
That will sum that up.
That's my sentence of Sensei Shintani.
Is there anything else you would like to say about Hanshi Shintani?
Well, I think like he always talked about Otsuka Sensei. Like for him, it was very important. It wasn't him teaching, it was Otsuka. It was through Otsuka Sensei. And I you know, I was thinking about that, and you don't really appreciate, or you don't realize the impact of your instructor until you start teaching yourself. And then as you're teaching, you realize, oh, that's what he taught me. Like for me, I being on the Shintani team since 1997, I was exposed to many of you. Like when I teach Wonsu, I remember the time that Sensei Bruce came to the dojo in Welland and worked Wonsu with the team. And Sensei Jim Atkinson came and he worked Shinto with the team and stuff like that. So different instructors that were brought in during the team trainings, and I got. So when I teach Wonsu, I think of Sensei Bruce and what he said that day, and that's my connection, you know. And I have different connections. Kumite, I remember Sensei Danny McCoy, he did a session about presence and controlling the match and stuff like that. And that kind of stuck with me. And then sometimes when I'm behind in points, I think about that. I say, okay, now it's my turn to control now. I just settle right in, and then and that's, I had to, I learned that. I didn't make that up, you know. I learned that from the people that I worked with. So that's and once you start teaching, you start realizing, yeah, I got that from that. I got that from that, and I got that from that. And so it was, yeah,
Yeah, again, that
kind
kind
of
of
like,
leads back to the point that you made about working with different people.
yep, yep. And I had that opportunity being being on the team gave me opened so many doors for me. It was incredible. It just made me stronger and appreciate all the different people in the organization, and the friendships that I made along the way are like lifelong friendships that we made. Yeah.
Do you have any closing comments or thoughts? Whatever you want to talk about, whatever you'd like to share with. We've got an audience from white belt to black belt. Some people not even involved in karate, or maybe they want to get in karate, and you can inspire them. Anything you want.
Well, like I tell my students usually on the first day, karate is not about fighting, it's about respect and kindness. And that's the ultimate goal of karate is to be kind. Sensei Jim, every time he finishes a class, Sensei Atkinson, he says, don't forget to be kind. Right. So, and when we went to Japan, that's where it kind of, that's their way of, they everything is respectful, and they bow, and they enter one section of the train, the conductor bows as he's coming in, and he walks to the other end, bows before he leaves. Like it's so built on respect, that whole culture. So so that's what we try to teach. I think the ultimate goal: kindness and respect.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with that, for sure.
Well,
Sensei Perkins, do you have anything to add before we
No,
wrap
I
up
just
here?
yeah. Thank you for your time. It's much appreciated, and hopefully people are going to be tuning in and taking a little bit from each one of these interviews. Every time I listen to one of these interviews, it spurs memories, fond memories for me. So I'm really enjoying this process. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know myself. I've we're into what, 5 or 6 now, and I think although some of the questions for the most part are the same, but I think I've changed my answers half a dozen times as we've gone through listening to everybody else. It's very getting everybody's different perspectives on Hanshi Shintani, and that's how we're going to carry his legacy into the future. Thank you very much.
Awesome project.
All right, that's great. Have a great night, and thank you very, very much for your time.
Thank you.